Hello, welcome to the second lesson of our Algebra 1 math prep curriculum. This is the algebraic expressions portion of this course, and here's where you can practice on Khan Academy before you do the assignments. So, we're going to go over every topic here so you can see evaluating expressions, writing basic expressions. Oh, I need to upload a good worksheet for that. We're going to do combine like terms, distributive property, equivalent expressions. All right, let me upload the document real quick. All right, so I uploaded that additional worksheet. And I know that some of these will have lots of worksheets. Feel free to do what you can. The more you practice, the better you get. And there's just so many different topics we're kind of doing all at once. So it's kind of good to do all of the worksheets. All right, so usually a lot of this stuff is learned in pre-algebra. Sometimes elementary is when you start learning a little bit of this stuff, and then 6th, 7th, 8th grade is when you really learn it to prepare you for Algebra 1. So I'm going to start from the beginning as if, like we don't really know too much. Let's go to the whiteboard. Okay. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the whiteboard. It looks different when I'm teaching classes on OutSchool. And when I'm recording a video. So that's okay. I'm pretty sure the whiteboard is showing. All right. So you have what is called variables in algebra. And so that's when you see, X, Y, Z, etc. So what is a variable? A variable is a letter used to stand for a number. I just wanted to get rid of the grids. And so, X could be anything. It could be Y. I mean, it could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 10. We don't know what it is. Sometimes you won't know what it is unless they tell you or when you're solving equations, but we're not yet getting to that. So in this portion of the class, we're not worried about what these are unless they tell us. So we're going to be evaluating expressions. And when you evaluate expressions, they're going to give you something like, they're going to say X is 2. And then they're going to say X squared plus Y, or sorry, there should be no Y. Well, let's just do Y. And Y is 3. And they're going to say evaluate the expression. And so that's when you're going to plug in a 2 for X and a 3 for Y. And you want to go in PEMDAS order. PEMDAS, we learned order of operations. We went over that last lesson. So exponents first, 2 to the second power is 4, and 4 plus 3 is 7. And so that's how you would evaluate expressions. All right. So let's go back here. And you can see evaluating expressions with one variable, with multiple variables. So one variable is pretty simple. This is P over 2 minus 5, and it's letting you know that P is 14. So this would be 14 over 2 minus 5. So this is division. Fractions are division. This is 14 divided by 2, which is 7. 7 minus 5 is 2. Always go in PEMDAS order. If you were to get it wrong, they'll show you how to do it. And so that's why it's good to practice on Khan Academy, because they'll show you how to do it. All right, let's go to the multiple variable one. So here we have 5 times C. 5C means 5 times C. So this is 5 times 7 minus 3 times D. They told you D is 8. Make sure you're plugging in stuff correctly. Take your time. Plus 11. All right, so multiplication comes first before addition, subtraction. 5 times 7 is 35. 3 times 8 is 24. And then you want to move your way left to right. If subtraction is first, then we're going to do subtraction first, and then the addition, and we get our answer of 22. All right, let's do another one before we move on. So P is 8, so 8 over 4 plus P times Q. PQ means P times Q, which is 8 times 6. Okay, so division first. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and then multiplication. This gets you 48, and add these together. Your answer is 50. Super simple. And you might see some exponents here and there. And so you're going to practice that with this worksheet here, and you can check your answers on the bottom. All right, so now let's move to the next topic on here, which is writing basic expressions with variables. And so you're going to see some key terms. And let's go back to the whiteboard. All right, so we're going to see some key terms. So you might see where it says product. They'll say, you know, find the product of 2 and 3. This means to multiply. You might see the term sum. Find the sum of x plus 4. That means to add. You might see difference. It'll say, like, find the difference of 6 and 2. That means to subtract. And then you might see it'll tell you to find the quotient. And that means to divide. So make sure you're familiar with these key terms. You will see them. They're very simple. There's not much vocabulary, luckily, in algebra, but there is some. So here, the product of t and 9. Well, that means to multiply. Oops, this is also multiplying. So there's actually 2 answers for that one. F increased by 3. Okay, so that means to add. And sometimes the wording will let you know the order you should go in, so you want to be careful. The quotient of 6 and y means to divide. The difference of p and 4 means to subtract, right? Difference means to subtract. And this is where you want to be careful with the wording. It says d fewer than 8. So that means d should come second. D fewer than 8. Wait, hold on. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. No, I don't know why it didn't mark it. That was weird. Okay, but yeah, 8 minus d. A third of the quantity of r. Okay, that's a tricky one. Of also means to multiply in math. You know, like when you do percentages in the future, what is 3 of 5? 3% of 5. That means to multiply. And so here, they might get a little trickier. D minus the product. Minus the product. So make sure product is first. Product means to multiply. And then you're going to minus. Oh, sorry. D minus the product. So it should go like in this order. D minus the product of 4 and x. I don't know. Sometimes it's marking it weird. Okay, 2 times the difference of x minus 3. So I can put these in parentheses since we're multiplying it by the difference of x minus 3. And you can see they did the same. So kind of know when you should have parentheses and when you shouldn't. And you'll be practicing those on using that worksheet, but also you can practice on Khan Academy, of course, as well. All right, now we're going to move on to combining like terms and distributive property and equivalent expressions. But first, I want you to practice up to quiz 1 here before moving on to the rest. And so we will do that in a separate video. I'll see you in the next one.